Emma stood in the grand marble hallway, her hands shaking as she held the golden key. The massive door to William Stone's private study creaked open, and what she saw inside made her gasp. The ruthless millionaire, the man they called the Ice King, was sitting on the floor like a small child, crying into his hands. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his perfect hair messy, and tears rolled down his face as he whispered over and over, "I'm so sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry." This was the same man who had fired 20 workers that morning without blinking. The same man who never smiled, never said please or thank you, and made grown men tremble with fear. But here he was, broken and crying, saying her name like she was the most important person in the world. Emma's heart pounded as she realized something huge was about to change forever. But how did she get here? How did a poor nurse from East London end up in the most feared house in all of England? Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments below. Let me take you back to where it all started. 3 weeks earlier, Emma sat in the small flat she shared with her sick mother in East London. The rent notice was bright red, and the words, "Final Notice," seemed to jump off the paper. Her mother, Mary, lay in bed coughing, getting weaker every day. The medicine she needed cost more money than Emma made in a month as a nurse at the local hospital. "We need a miracle, Mum," Emma whispered, holding her mother's thin hand. The next morning at work, Emma's friend Sarah rushed over with a newspaper. "Emma, look at this." Sarah pointed to a job ad that was bigger than all the others. Wanted, live-in house manager. Pay, £10,000 per month. Location, Stone Manor, Central London. Warning, only serious applicants need apply. Emma's eyes went wide. £10,000 a month? That was more than she made in 6 months. "Don't even think about it," Sarah said quickly. "That's William Stone's house. They call him the Ice King for a reason. He's fired over 50 people this year alone. No one lasts more than a week." But Emma was already thinking about her mother's medicine, about the red notice on their door, about having enough money to buy food that wasn't from the discount bin. How bad could it be? Emma asked. Sarah grabbed her arm. "Emma, listen to me. Last month, a girl named Lucy took that job. She came back after 3 days crying so hard she couldn't speak. She said he made her clean the same room 7 times because one tiny spot wasn't perfect. Another woman said he never spoke to her except to tell her what she did wrong. And get this, he has a rule that no one can look him in the eye." Emma felt scared, but then she thought about her mother's cough getting worse every night. "I have to try, Sarah. We're going to lose our flat next week." That afternoon, Emma stood outside Stone Manor. The house was huge, bigger than her entire apartment building. It had tall windows that looked like eyes staring down at her. The gardens were perfect, with every flower exactly in place. Everything looked expensive and cold. A tall woman in a black suit opened the door. "You must be Emma. I'm Victoria, Mr. Stone's assistant. You're the only one who showed up today." "The only one?" Emma asked. "The others saw the house and left," Victoria said with a sad smile. "Smart girls." Victoria led Emma through halls filled with paintings and shiny floors. Everything was white, black, or gold. There were no family photos, no warm colors, nothing that felt like home. "Here are the rules," Victoria said, handing Emma a long list. "Mr. Stone wakes up at exactly 5 a.m. His breakfast must be on the table at 5:30. 1 egg, cooked for exactly 3 minutes. 2 pieces of toast, golden brown. Coffee black, in the blue cup only. If anything is wrong, he won't eat." Emma looked at the list. There were rules about everything: how to clean, how to walk quietly, how to arrange his papers, even how to stand when he talked to her. "Rule number 1, Victoria continued, never look him in the eye. Rule number 2, never speak unless he asks you a question. Rule number 3, never, ever go into his private study. That door stays locked always." "Why?" Emma asked. Victoria's face went pale. "Just don't." The last girl who went in there was fired immediately. Mr. Stone was so angry that he didn't speak to anyone for 3 days. Suddenly, they heard footsteps. Heavy, slow footsteps that made Emma's heart beat faster. "He's coming," Victoria whispered. "Remember, don't look at his face." William Stone walked into the room, and Emma felt the temperature drop. He was tall, with dark hair and an expensive suit that probably cost more than her yearly salary. But the scariest thing was how quiet he was. He moved like a ghost, and when he stopped, the whole room felt frozen. "This is Emma," Victoria said in a shaky voice. "She's here about the house manager position." William didn't say hello. He walked around Emma like she was a statue, studying her. Emma kept her eyes on the floor, but she could feel him watching her. "You're small," he said finally. His voice was deep and cold. "The work is hard." "I'm stronger than I look, sir," Emma said quietly. "We'll see." He walked to the window and stood with his back to her. "You'll work 7 days a week. You'll live in the small room on the 3rd floor. You'll have no visitors, no phone calls during work hours, and no questions about my business." Emma thought about her mother's medicine. "I understand, sir." "Do you?" He turned around, and even though she wasn't looking at his face, Emma could feel his cold stare. The last girl cried every night. The one before her lasted 2 days. "Why should you be different?" Emma finally looked up, forgetting the rule about not looking at his face. His eyes were the coldest blue she'd ever seen, but for just a second, she thought she saw something else, something that looked like sadness. "Because I have someone I love who needs me to be strong," Emma said. William's face changed slightly, but then the cold mask came back. "You start tomorrow. Don't disappoint me." As he walked away, Emma heard him mutter something under his breath. It sounded like, "They all leave anyway." That night, Emma lay in her new room on the 3rd floor. It was small but clean, with a tiny window that looked out over the garden. She could hear William moving around somewhere in the huge house, but it felt lonely, like a castle where a sad king lived all alone. The next morning, Emma woke up at 4:30 a.m. She had to be perfect. Her mother's life depended on it. She went to the kitchen and started making breakfast exactly as the rules said. 1 egg, 3 minutes. 2 pieces of toast, golden brown. Coffee, black, in the blue cup. At exactly 5:30, William came down to the dining room. He sat at the huge table that could seat 20 people, but he sat alone. Emma placed the breakfast in front of him and stepped back. He cut the egg. Too runny. He pushed the plate away without saying anything and walked out. Emma's heart sank. She'd failed on the first day. But she didn't give up. She made new eggs, cooking them for 4 minutes this time. She ran to catch him before he left for work. "Sir," she called out, breaking the rule about not speaking unless asked. "I made fresh eggs." He stopped and turned around. For a moment, Emma thought he might fire her right there. Instead, he walked back to the dining room and sat down again. This time, the egg was perfect. He ate everything on the plate without saying a word, but Emma saw him nod slightly. It was the smallest sign of approval, but it meant everything. Days passed. Emma learned William's routines. He worked late into the night. He never watched TV or listened to music. He ate the same lunch every day, a sandwich with no flavor, like he didn't care about enjoying anything. Emma began to notice strange things. Sometimes she heard piano music coming from somewhere in the house, but when she asked Victoria about it, she just said, "Mr. Stone doesn't play piano." One evening, Emma was cleaning the hallway when she heard the music again. It was beautiful and sad, like someone was pouring their heart out through their fingers. She followed the sound to a door she'd never seen before. It was hidden behind a bookshelf. The music stopped suddenly. Emma quickly moved away, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. Who was playing? And why did it sound so lonely? The next day, William seemed different. He looked tired, and his usually perfect hair was messy. When Emma brought his coffee, their hands touched for just a second when he took the cup. His skin was warm, and she felt him pull away quickly like he'd been burned. "Sorry, sir," Emma said. But William just stared at her hand where they had touched. "Don't apologize," he said quietly. "You did nothing wrong." It was the kindest thing he'd ever said to her. That night, Emma heard crying. It was coming from somewhere downstairs. She knew she should stay in her room, but the sound was so sad that she couldn't ignore it. She crept down the stairs, following the sound. It led her to the door of William's private study, the room she was never supposed to enter. The door was slightly open, and she could see inside. William was sitting at his desk, holding a photograph. Even from the doorway, Emma could see tears on his face. He was crying like his heart was breaking, and he kept saying, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Emma's heart ached for him. This wasn't the cold ice king everyone feared. This was a man who was hurt and alone. She was about to leave when the floorboard creaked under her foot. William looked up, and their eyes met. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then William's face went hard again, and he quickly wiped his tears. "Get out," he said, but his voice was shaky. Emma ran back to her room, her heart pounding. She'd seen the real William Stone, the sad, broken man hiding behind the cold mask. And somehow, she knew that everything was about to change. The next morning, Emma expected to be fired. But William came to breakfast as usual. He didn't look at her, but when she placed his coffee down, he said something that made her freeze. "The music room is off limits," he said quietly. "But, if you ever want to play piano, there's an old one in the East Wing. It hasn't been used in years." Emma's eyes went wide. He knew she could play piano? How? I don't know how to play, sir," she lied. William looked at her directly for the first time since that night. "Don't lie to me, Emma. I heard you humming yesterday. You were humming the same song I was playing." Emma felt her face turn red. He'd been the one playing piano? The beautiful, sad music was coming from William? "I used to play a little," she admitted. Before life got hard." William nodded slowly. "Life has a way of taking away the things we love." There was something in his voice that made Emma brave. "But maybe we can find them again?" William stared at her for a long moment. Then he did something that shocked Emma completely. He almost smiled. It was tiny, barely there, but it was real. "Maybe," he said softly. But just as Emma thought she was breaking through his walls, Victoria burst into the room with a panicked look on her face. "Mr. Stone," she said breathlessly, "there's been an emergency. The police are here. They say someone has been stealing from your company, and they have evidence that points to." Victoria looked at Emma with wide, scared eyes. "That points to Emma." The world seemed to stop. Emma felt like she couldn't breathe. William's face went back to ice, colder than she'd ever seen it. "What?" Emma whispered. Two police officers walked into the room. "Emma Johnson, you're under arrest for corporate theft and fraud. You have the right to remain silent." As they put handcuffs on her wrists, Emma looked at William, begging him with her eyes to believe her. "I didn't do anything. I swear, I would never." But William had turned away. The mask was back, and he looked at her like she was a stranger. "I trusted you," he said in a voice like ice. "I actually trusted you." As the police led Emma away, she saw William's face one last time. The hurt in his eyes was worse than his anger. She had broken the heart of a man who had already been broken too many times. But Emma didn't know that in William's desk drawer, hidden under important papers, was a letter that would change everything. A letter that would reveal the truth about who really wanted to destroy William Stone's life. And that letter had Emma's name on it, but not in the way anyone expected. Emma sat in the cold police station, still wearing her work clothes. The handcuffs had left red marks on her wrists, and she couldn't stop shaking. How had her life gone from hope to disaster in just one morning? "Miss Johnson," Detective Brown said, sliding a folder across the table. We have bank records showing that £50,000 was moved from William Stone's company account to your personal account yesterday. Emma's mouth fell open. That's impossible. I don't even know Mr. Stone's business accounts. We also found these emails on the company computer, the detective continued, showing her printed papers. Emails from your account to someone called M. Walker, discussing the best times to access Mr. Stone's office. Emma read the emails, her heart sinking. They were written in her name, talking about William's schedule when he left the house, where he kept important papers. But she had never written any of them. I didn't write these, Emma said desperately. Someone is setting me up. Detective Brown looked at her with tired eyes. Miss Johnson, that's what they all say. Meanwhile, back at Stone Manor, William stood in his study staring at the chair where Emma used to sit when she brought his afternoon tea. Victoria knocked on the door. Sir, the reporters are outside. They want to know about the theft. William didn't turn around. Tell them no comment. Sir, there's something else. Victoria's voice was shaky. Emma's mother called. She's very sick, and she's asking for Emma. She doesn't understand why Emma hasn't come home. William's hands clenched into fists. That's not my problem. But after Victoria left, William sat down heavily in his chair. Emma had talked about her mother every day. How she was sick, how much the medicine cost, how Emma worked extra hours just to buy her food. Could someone that caring really be a thief? William opened his desk drawer and pulled out a file, Emma's job application. He'd read it so many times he knew it by heart. Under, why do you want this job? Emma had written, my mother is dying, and I need money for her medicine. I'll work harder than anyone because I have someone I love counting on me. Sir. Victoria was back at the door. Your lawyer is here. Mr. Peterson, William's lawyer, came in with a serious face. William, we need to talk about the Emma situation. The evidence looks bad, but something doesn't feel right. What do you mean? William asked. I've been looking at the bank records. The money was moved using a computer access code that only 5 people in your company know. Emma wasn't one of them. William's head snapped up. What? More than that, Mr. Peterson continued. The emails were sent from a computer in your London office, not from your house. Emma hasn't been to your office once since she started working here. William stood up quickly. Then who? I have a theory, but you're not going to like it. Back at the police station, Emma was allowed one phone call. With tears in her eyes, she called her mother. Emma. Oh, sweetheart, where are you? Her mother's voice was weak and scared. Mom, I'm in trouble. But I didn't do anything wrong, I promise. I know you didn't, love. You're the most honest person I know. Emma started crying. I don't know what to do. They think I stole money from Mr. Stone. He'll never believe me now. Emma, listen to me, her mother said firmly. Sometimes good people get hurt by bad people. But the truth always comes out. Always. But what if it doesn't come out in time? What if? Then you fight. You fight because you're innocent, and you fight because there are people who believe in you. After the call, Emma sat alone in her cell. She thought about William's face when the police took her away. He had looked so hurt, so betrayed. She had been starting to care about him, really care, and now he thought she was just another person who had used him. That evening, William couldn't eat dinner. He kept thinking about Emma's eyes when she said, I didn't do anything. They had looked so honest, so scared. And he remembered how she had been the first person in years to look at him with kindness instead of fear. Victoria came to his study again. Sir, there's something you need to see. She handed him a piece of paper. I found this in Marcus Walker's desk. William read the paper, and his face went white. It was a list of computer passwords, including his private business account password. At the bottom, in Marcus's handwriting, were the words, Phase 1, frame the girl. Phase 2, take over the company. Marcus, William whispered. Marcus Walker was his business partner, someone he had trusted for 5 years. He's been planning this. There's more, Victoria said quietly. I checked the security cameras. Marcus was here yesterday morning while you were at your doctor's appointment. He went into your study, the one Emma was never allowed to enter. William's world was spinning. Marcus had been like a brother to him. They had built the company together. But Marcus had been stealing from him and had used Emma as his scapegoat. Get the car, William said, his voice deadly quiet. Now. William burst into the police station like a storm. Detective Brown looked surprised to see him. Mr. Stone, what are you doing here? I need to see Emma Johnson. Now. Sir, she's accused of stealing from you. Why would you want to? Because she's innocent, William shouted. I have proof that my business partner Marcus Walker is the real thief. He framed her. Emma was brought to the visiting room, her eyes red from crying. When she saw William, she looked away in shame. Emma, William said softly, sitting across from her. Look at me. She slowly raised her eyes, and William saw the pain there. Pain that he had caused by not believing her. I know you didn't do it, he said. I know you're innocent. Emma's lips trembled. You believe me? I should have believed you from the beginning. I'm sorry. William showed her the evidence they had found, the passwords, the security camera footage, the real emails from Marcus's computer. Emma listened with growing shock. Marcus Walker, she whispered. He's your business partner. Why would he do this to you? William's face grew dark. Because he's been planning to steal my company for months. He needed someone to blame, and you were perfect, new, needing money, with access to my house. But I never had access to your business accounts. I know that now. Marcus used his own access and made it look like you did it. Emma started crying again, but this time it was relief. I thought you hated me. I thought you'd never believe me. William reached across the table and took her hand, the first time he had touched someone gently in years. I could never hate you, Emma. You're the only person who's ever looked at me like I was worth something. You are worth something, Emma said firmly. You're worth everything. William stared at her, and for the first time in years, he smiled. Really smiled. Let's get you out of here. Within hours, the police had arrested Marcus Walker. They found evidence that he had been stealing from the company for months, moving money to secret accounts. Emma was released, all charges dropped. As they drove back to Stone Manor, Emma sat quietly in the car. She was free, but she felt confused. Everything had changed between her and William. The cold, distant boss was gone, replaced by someone who had fought for her, who had believed in her. Emma, William said as they pulled into the driveway. I need to tell you something. They sat in the car in front of the huge house. William looked nervous, like a young boy instead of a powerful millionaire. The night you saw me in my study, he began. I was looking at a picture of my sister. She died 3 years ago in a car accident. I was supposed to pick her up that night, but I was too busy with work. If I had been there. Emma's heart broke for him. William, it wasn't your fault. I became cold after that. I pushed everyone away because I thought if I didn't care about anyone, I couldn't be hurt again. But then you came, and you were so kind, so real. You made me remember what it felt like to be human. Emma reached over and took his hand. You don't have to be alone anymore. William looked at her with tears in his eyes. I don't deserve you. That's not your choice to make, Emma said with a small smile. That's mine. They sat in comfortable silence, holding hands in the darkness. But their peace was broken by the sound of sirens in the distance. What's that? Emma asked. William's phone rang. Victoria's panicked voice came through. Sir, there's been an explosion at the London office. The building is on fire. William's face went pale. What? The police think it was Marcus. He must have said it before they arrested him. All your business files, the servers, everything is gone. Emma watched William's face crumble. His company, everything he had worked for, was being destroyed by the man he had trusted. We need to go, William said, starting the car. No, Emma said firmly. We need to think. Think. My life's work is burning down. Emma grabbed his face and made him look at her. William, listen to me. Marcus wanted to destroy you. If you run into that fire, if you let anger control you, he wins. But if you stay calm, if you're smart, we can beat him. William stared at her, and slowly, his breathing calmed down. What do you suggest? Emma smiled, the kind of smile that made William remember why he had fallen for her. I suggest we show Marcus Walker that he messed with the wrong people. How? You still have backup files at home, right? In your private study. William nodded. Yes, but... And you have investors who trust you, who would support you even if the office burned down? Yes, but Emma, it's not that simple. Emma's eyes sparkled with determination. Then we rebuild. We rebuild better, stronger, and we make sure Marcus knows that he didn't destroy William Stone. He just made him fight back. William stared at her in amazement. This woman, this brave, brilliant woman, was ready to help him fight for his dreams. You know what? William said, his voice growing stronger. You're right. Marcus thinks he's won, but he has no idea what he's unleashed. They drove toward the fire, not as victims, but as warriors ready to reclaim what was theirs. But as they got closer to the burning building, Emma saw something that made her blood run cold. In the crowd of people watching the fire, she saw a familiar face. Marcus Walker was supposed to be in jail, but there he was, standing free, watching William's building burn with a satisfied smile on his face. William, Emma whispered, grabbing his arm. Marcus is there. He's not in jail. He's watching. William looked where she was pointing, and his face went deadly calm. He must have posted bail. He's here to watch me suffer. But as they watched, Marcus pulled out his phone and made a call. Emma couldn't hear what he was saying, but she could read his lips well enough to understand one word: next. Next. Emma repeated. What does that mean? William's face went white with fear. It means the building wasn't enough. He's going after something else. What else could he want? William turned to Emma, and she saw real terror in his eyes. You, Emma. You're the only thing I care about now. You're next. As if on cue, Emma's phone rang. Unknown number. Don't answer it, William said quickly. But Emma was already lifting the phone to her ear. Hello. Hello, Emma. Marcus's voice was smooth and dangerous. I hope you're enjoying your freedom. It won't last long. What do you want? Emma asked, her voice shaking. I want William to suffer. And the best way to make him suffer is to take away the only thing he's ever loved. You. The line went dead. Emma and William stared at each other in the firelight, both knowing that their fight was far from over. Marcus Walker had declared war, and Emma was his target. Emma's hands were shaking as she hung up the phone. Marcus's threat echoed in her mind. I want to take away the only thing he's ever loved. You. William immediately called his security team. I need protection for Emma Johnson. Now. Sir, the head of security said through the phone, we can have a team at your location in 20 minutes. That might be too late, William said, looking around nervously. Marcus could be anywhere. Emma grabbed William's arm. We can't just stand here in the open. We need to go somewhere safe. They rushed back to the car, but as William started the engine, Emma saw movement in the mirrors. A black van was following them. William, we're being followed. William pressed the gas pedal harder. Hold on. The chase through London streets was terrifying. The black van tried to ram them twice, and Emma could see masked men inside. William drove like a man fighting for his life, because he was there. Emma pointed to a police station ahead. Drive there. But as they got closer, the van suddenly turned and disappeared into the night. Why did they give up? Emma asked, breathing hard. William's face was grim. Because Marcus doesn't want to hurt you in public. He wants to do it somewhere private, where he can make sure I watch. They spent the night at a safe house with police protection. Emma couldn't sleep, and she could hear William pacing in the next room. Finally, she knocked on his door. Come in, he said softly. William was standing by the window, looking out at the dark street. He looked older, more tired than she'd ever seen him. This is all my fault, he said without turning around. I brought you into this mess. Emma walked over and stood beside him. No, William. Marcus brought us into this mess. You just gave me a job. I gave you more than a job, William said, finally looking at her. I gave you my heart. And now Marcus is going to use that against us. Emma felt her own heart skip. You gave me your heart? William turned to face her fully. Emma, I've been cold for so long, I forgot what it felt like to care about someone. But you brought me back to life. You made me remember what it means to be human. William. I love you, he said simply. I know it's crazy. I know I'm not good at this. But I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. Emma felt tears in her eyes. I love you too. They held each other in the dark room, both knowing that tomorrow might be their last day together. The next morning, Marcus made his move. Emma's phone rang again. Hello, Emma. Marcus's voice was calm and deadly. I have your mother. Emma's blood went cold. What? That's right. Sweet old Mary is with me now. If you want to see her again, you'll come to the old warehouse on River Street. Alone. Don't hurt her. Emma screamed. She's dying. She needs her medicine. Then you better hurry, Marcus said. You have 1 hour. And, Emma, if you bring William or the police, your mother dies. Emma sank to the floor, crying. William knelt beside her, holding her as she sobbed. He has my mum, Emma whispered. She's so weak, William. If he hurts her. He won't, William said firmly. I won't let him. I have to go alone. He said if I bring you. No. William's voice was like steel. I'm not letting you walk into a trap. Emma looked up at him with tears streaming down her face. Then what do we do? William was quiet for a long moment, thinking. Then his face changed, the cold, calculating expression that had made him a successful businessman. We're going to give Marcus exactly what he wants, William said. But not the way he expects. What do you mean? William smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. It was the smile of a man who had been pushed too far. Marcus thinks he knows me. He thinks I'm still the same broken man who lost his sister. But he's wrong. I have something to fight for now. I have you. William explained his plan. It was dangerous, but it was their only chance. Emma would go to the warehouse as Marcus demanded, but William would be there too, hidden, waiting for the right moment. If this goes wrong. Emma started. It won't, William said, kissing her forehead. I promise you, Emma. I will not let anything happen to you or your mother. An hour later, Emma walked into the dark warehouse alone. Her heart was pounding, but she tried to stay calm. She had to be strong for her mother. Emma! She heard her mother's weak voice from the back of the warehouse. Emma ran toward the sound and found her mother tied to a chair. Mary looked pale and sick, but she was alive. Mum! Emma hugged her carefully. Are you okay? I'm fine, love, Mary whispered. But this is a trap. He's waiting for. Hello, Emma. Emma spun around. Marcus stepped out of the shadows, no longer pretending to be the nice business partner. His eyes were cold and angry. You caused me a lot of trouble, Marcus said. I had the perfect plan to take over William's company, and you ruined it. Why? Emma asked. Why do you hate him so much? Marcus's face twisted with jealousy. Because he has everything. Money, success, respect. And now he has you. But William Stone doesn't deserve to be happy. He deserves to suffer. You're sick, Emma said. Maybe. But I'm also smart. Do you know what's going to happen now? Emma stayed quiet, but her mother spoke up. You're going to let us go, you coward. Marcus laughed. Oh, Mary, you're funny. No, what's going to happen is this. William is going to come here to save you. And when he does, I'm going to kill all three of you. But first, I'm going to make him watch as I hurt the two people he loves most. William's not coming, Emma lied. I told him to stay away. Please, Marcus said. William Stone would walk through fire for you. He'll be here. He'll be here. As if on cue, they heard footsteps. William walked into the warehouse, his hands raised. Let them go, Marcus, William said. This is between you and me. Marcus smiled like a wolf. There he is. The great William Stone, coming to save his girls. I said let them go. Or what? You'll fire me? Too late for that, William. I already destroyed your business. Your office is gone, your files are gone, your reputation is ruined. All you have left is this pathetic little nurse and her dying mother. William's face stayed calm, but Emma could see the anger in his eyes. You're right, Marcus. You destroyed my business. But you know what? I don't care. Marcus looked confused. What? I said I don't care. You can take my money, my company, my reputation. But you can't take what really matters to me. And what's that? William looked at Emma, and his face filled with love. The family I've found. Emma and Mary mean more to me than any business ever could. Marcus's face turned red with rage. You're lying. You care about your company more than anything. I used to, William said. But Emma taught me what really matters. She taught me how to love again. Shut up. Marcus pulled out a gun. You don't get to be happy. You don't get to have love. But William was ready. As Marcus raised the gun, William pressed a button on his phone. Suddenly, the warehouse was flooded with light as police surrounded the building. It's over, Marcus, William said. I've been recording everything you said. The police heard your confession. Marcus looked around wildly as armed police officers moved in. You set me up. You set yourself up, William said. Your jealousy and hate destroyed you. Marcus tried to run, but the police caught him easily. As they handcuffed him, he screamed at William. This isn't over. I'll find a way to hurt you. No, William said quietly. It is over. You have no power over me anymore. As the police led Marcus away, Emma ran to William. He caught her in his arms, holding her tight. Is it really over? Emma asked. It's over, William said. We're safe. Emma's mother, now free from her ropes, walked over to them. So you're the famous William Stone, she said with a weak smile. Emma's told me so much about you. William looked nervous. Ma'am, I know you might not approve of me. Approve? Mary laughed. Young man, my daughter has been happier these past few weeks than she's been in years. If you make her happy, you're perfect in my eyes. 1 month later, Emma stood in the garden of Stone Manor, but everything was different now. The cold, empty house had been transformed into a warm home. There were flowers everywhere, music playing softly, and laughter echoing through the halls. William had rebuilt his company, stronger than before. But more importantly, he had rebuilt his life with Emma at the center of it. Are you ready? Sarah asked, adjusting Emma's white dress. Emma looked at herself in the mirror. She was wearing a beautiful wedding dress, about to marry the man she loved. I'm ready. The ceremony was perfect. William waited at the altar, looking handsome in his black suit, but more than that, he looked happy. Really, truly happy. As Emma walked down the aisle, she thought about everything that had happened. She had taken a job nobody wanted, worked for a man everyone feared, and somehow found the love of her life. "Do you, William Stone, take Emma to be your wife?" the minister asked. "I do," William said, his voice strong and sure. "I promise to love you, protect you, and never let you feel alone again." "Do you, Emma Johnson, take William to be your husband?" Emma looked into William's eyes, the same eyes that had once been so cold, now warm with love. "I do. I promise to stand by you, believe in you, and help you remember every day that you deserve to be happy." As they kissed, the guests cheered. Emma's mother, now healthy thanks to the best doctors William's money could buy, cried happy tears. Victoria, who had become like a sister to Emma, threw flowers in the air. But the best part was William's face. The Ice King was gone forever, replaced by a man who had learned to love and be loved. That night, as they danced at their wedding reception, William whispered in Emma's ear, "Do you remember when you asked me if we could find the things we love again?" Emma smiled. "I remember. Well, I found everything I was looking for. I found music, I found laughter, I found hope. But most of all, I found you." Emma felt tears of joy in her eyes. "This really is the best day of my life." "Mine too," William said, spinning her around. "And tomorrow will be even better." As they danced under the stars, Emma thought about the scared girl who had walked into Stone Manor just months ago. That girl had been desperate, poor, and alone. But sometimes, when you take the job nobody wants, when you're brave enough to see the good in people others fear, when you choose love over fear, sometimes you find exactly what you were looking for. Emma had taken a job nobody wanted at a Ruthless Millionaire's house. But what she found there wasn't just work. She found her soulmate, her best friend, and the love of her life. And as William held her close, both of them knew that their story was just beginning. The Ice King had melted, the poor nurse had found her prince, and they would live happily ever after. The next morning, Emma woke up as Mrs. Stone in the most beautiful bedroom she'd ever seen. Sunlight streamed through the windows, and she could hear William playing piano downstairs. Not sad music this time, but something joyful and bright. She got up and walked to the window, looking out at the garden where they had promised to love each other forever. The same garden where she had once walked as a scared employee was now her home. William appeared in the doorway, carrying a tray with breakfast and a single red rose. "Good morning, Mrs. Stone," he said with a smile that made her heart skip. "Good morning, Mr. Stone," Emma said, running to embrace him. And as they sat together eating breakfast, planning their future, laughing about silly things, Emma knew that taking the job nobody wanted had led her to the life everybody dreams of. She had found her happily ever after with the man everyone feared, and it was more beautiful than any fairy tale. The end. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories like this one.